Welcome back to Dragon's Plays, Dark Souls Remastered. Alright, so if you're just joining this series now, please go back and watch the first episode, at least the start of it. At the beginning of the episode, I talk a lot about this series, which is an in-depth series where we're casually talking. That sounds weird, but that's what it is. It's an in-depth series where we're casually talking about the game design elements of Dark Souls, and only lightly touching on the lore. That's the gist of it. But I would highly recommend going back, watch at least the beginning of the last one, and I'll throw the same disclaimer on this one. If you have not played Dark Souls 1 or watched a blind playthrough, please do one of those. This game is best experienced either playing yourself, totally blind, or watching someone else play it blind if you don't think you can do it, which is totally fine. Anyways, if you're interested, please check out the first one. Now, let's get into this one then, shall we? So one of the changes that they introduced in the remaster, and I'm glad I ran into it here, is the plants are no longer cardboard cutouts. I mean, they're still not the most detailed things in the world, but they actually move in the wind now. Little touches. Well, okay, no, most of them do. They did a pretty good job here, actually. Oh, even that one. Alright, moving on. So, I didn't quite finish the Asylum last time. Here we get our first soul item, Soul of a Lost Undead. I always want to sing that one. Soul of a Lost Undead, who has long ago gone hollow. Second mention of hollowing. Souls are the source of all life, and whether undead or even hollow, one continues to seek them. Now, one of my criticisms with the Soulsborne games in general is there is no indication how much this gives you. I know from personal experience of having played this series quite a bit, that is 200. For new players or people that can't remember things like that as well, those are a huge pain. It turns into a guessing game. Unless you are in Dark Souls 3, in which case you can sell them for their actual value. Neat little trick there. But anyways, so one of the changes I wish they made to this series was somewhere, either on the icon or on this little menu, they gave you the quantity. Like, used to acquire 200 souls. Done. Anyways, that's my little rant on that. That's actually one of the mods I have on the PC version, is that. Fixing that. And granted, it is only fixing the icon. That was the easiest way for me to do it, but nothing now, eh? So you can trigger them early. I think you have to save and quit, though. So overall, this skybox looks pretty decent. The only problem is, so there is animation in the sky, it's just not much, but there's no animation in any of the background. Clouds overhead, no changes in lighting on any of that. But, yeah. It would have been a lot of work just to redo a skybox in insane detail, but yeah. So it should be noted that the Asylum obviously used to extend all the way over here, and just this half of it totally got destroyed. Makes you wonder what the original purpose of this place was, because I don't think it was an asylum. A lot of the structure is almost church-like, so this might be a abandoned, condemned church that they retrofitted into an asylum. But that's fine. Few lore implications there. The last message we read said, "Good job, go straight ahead." camera pulls out a little bit. And it should be noted that you cannot see Lordran anywhere. This place is an island in a void, essentially. Yeah, and honestly, the geography of this mountain peak makes no sense. Moving on.
Only in the ancient legends it is stated that one day an undead shall be chosen. To leave the undead asylum in pilgrimage to the land of the ancient lords. Lordran.
Alright. Just getting my note sheet out. Alright. So, we have a lot of stuff to cover about Firelink Shrine and the surrounding areas. Here we get a cool little overview shot of the area. Now, pay attention. Across the bonfire from us, straight across, there's now a tree there. Reach Lordran! And Lordran, level up and kindle at bonfires. First mention of kindling. But yeah, this tree is not in the opening for some reason. And it should be noted it's not in the opening in the original either, but weird. So this bonfire's been kindled once. Pretty decent size now. Throws pretty good light too, honestly. Now, let's see. We get 3 humanity. Alright, so let's start right at the top. This is Firelink Shrine, the hub of Dark Souls 1. And this is a true, hub. A lot of the world connects directly to this place. So you can see a little bit of it there, but up above, in that area, is the Undead Parish. The elevator going up is right on the other side of that building. So the elevator shaft goes right up there. You can kind of see the top of the church through the trees at the top of the screen. The Undead Burg's right over there. The Depths is actually right in here. Super far down is actually, the Valley of Drakes is somewhere in this ravine. If you look over the side down here, that's not the best place to see it. If you look on the side down here, that's Blighttown. And then that tree, way over there, is the Great Hollow. So, right off the bat, you're able to see a lot of the first half of the game. Pretty much all of the first half. Really, really cool details. Now, so that right off the bat, interconnections. We'll be talking more about that in a second. But Firelink. So that's what it's called in English. Apparently, the Japanese translation is ritual place of the successor of the flame. So that is obviously... So this place was set up for the ritual of linking the flame. Which makes sense, given the kiln lies right down here. Right under the floor here. You can see the panel right under our feet. Hi, Crow. And that's just the crow that brought us. Okay. I'm right on the edge of lock-on range. There we go. So you can target him. I believe it actually flies away when it gets low health or something like that. But anyways. Yeah. So it's a lot of the lore of this area is tied up in the idea of here is where they celebrated the linking of the flame. And obviously this place is totally super wrecked. Like, it has not been taken care of. It's all falling apart. Tree has grown up through there. Yeah, just not holding up at all, is it? Let's see. So, yeah, this place at least used to hold serious significance to the people living in Lordra. Its importance, though, drastically fell off as the Undead Curse got worse and the world fell apart. Anyways, let's see. So, let's start with our NPCs. Or not start, but let's go to our NPCs next. So right here, very, very accessible from where you start the game, you have the Crestfallen Warrior.
Well, what do we have here? You must be a new arrival. Let me guess. Fate of the undead, right? Well, you're not the first. But there's no salvation here. You'd have done better to rot in the undead asylum. But too late now. Well, since you're here, let me help you out. There are, actually, 2 bells of awakening. One's up above in the undead church. The other is far, far below, in the ruins at the base of Blight Town. Ring them both, and something happens. Brilliant, right? Not much to go on, but I have a feeling that won't stop you. So, off you go. It is why you came, isn't it? To this accursed land of the undead?
And we get our first laugh. So, this guy right here, his main purpose is to just dump lore, world building, and goals on you. He is the guy that essentially gives you your quest objectives. At least in the early game. And you can totally ignore him and walk past him, which is generally what I do. He has a ton to say, though.
Ah, your face. You're practically hollow. But
Yeah.
Going hollow could solve quite a bit.
So there we get our next mention of hollowing. So essentially, just to briefly get into it, hollowing is the idea that as an undead, if you lose your purpose, so you lose your reason for living, you hollow out, you lose who you are as a person, and you become a mindless husk that attacks whatever is closest to it in a desperate attempt to get humanity. The problem is, since you lost your life purpose, you're never getting it back. It's gone forever. And that's what our friends, you can see a few of them hanging out up there. They are hollow. They have lost their life purpose. They have lost their will to go on. And so, their humanity is gone. And they are cursed to eternally try to regain what they cannot. What else do you got for us?
What? Restoring your humanity? Well, there are a few ways to go about it. Collect it bit by bit from corpses. Or you can butter up a cleric and get yourself summoned. And the quickest way, although I never do it, is to kill a healthy undead and pillage its humanity. Coveting thy neighbor is only human, after all.
I got animation canceled there.
What are you looking at? Don't try anything. You might regret it. Hmm? What? You want to hear more? Oh, that's all we need. Another inquisitive soul. Well, listen carefully then. One of the bells is up above in the undead church, but the lift is broken. You'll have to climb the stairs up the ruins and access the undead burg through the waterway. The other bell is back down below the undead burg, within the plague-infested Blight Town. But I'd die again before I step foot in that cesspool.
So right there, he gives you more details about your quest and how to go about it. And he explicitly gives you instructions. Head up through the ruins. That part of the line doesn't really make sense. Through the ruins actually would make you think you had to go this way. But he did say go up and through the aqueduct. And, oh my grass. And through the aqueduct into the burg. Which is actually what you're supposed to do. If he had said climb up along the cliff into the aqueduct, that would have made much more sense and would have really helped steer players in the right direction. But as it is, he says through the ruins, so a lot of people run that way. Not that great for them.
Bloody hell, what is it now? You ask too many questions.
Yeah, anything else?
Hmm? What now? I'm not up for chatting. Leave me alone.
I love how he just has so many lines saying, no, enough. Go away.
Hmm? What? I'm not up.
Alright, so that's all I got. So anyways, yeah, he gives you your objectives. You get some lore from him. He is 100% unobtrusive. You can come in. Walk right by his face. He will never call out to you. He will never interrupt you. But he is there for new players to give them a lowdown so they know what to do. Another really, really good, unobtrusive little thing to help out new players to the game. Now, we're going to talk more about reversing, hollowing, and regaining your humanity in a little bit. I'm not going to mess with it now because I have a high probability of losing it before we get any use of it. Anyways, let's see, what do we want to do next? So, one of the cool things with Firelink Shrine, we already talked a little bit about it, is its interconnection, or interconnectivity with the rest of the world. So, he mentioned the broken lift that leads up to the Undead Burg. Or Undead Parish, rather. So, right now the lift is busted. If we work our way up, aqueduct through the burg, through that bridge, which is right above the aqueduct, through the parish, we're able to come down the elevator. And, boom, another connection to Firelink Shrine. Obviously, there's the one we just mentioned, leading up and into the burg. There are a couple of others, though. The first one is located right down this way. Right down here. And it's right here. So down this elevator, which is a fairly long one. Damn. That looks awesome. So we arrive at the, I'm kind of waiting for it a little bit. Soul of a Nameless Soldier. That one is 800. So right off the bat, we run into some hollows. There it is. The New Londo Ruins. So right off the bat, we have access to this area, which is actually, in truth, a late game area. This is one of the final areas you have to come to beat the game. So it's really, really insane they give it to you right off the bat. So we now have the S stock. Is there any lore on that? I doubt it, but it doesn't hurt to check. Oh, I never checked my shield. Alright, no, nothing. Decorated with a tower, the symbol of protection. Standard, widely used shield. Alright, so we got ourselves the S stock. Now, over here, we reach the next part of the interconnectedness of this game. We have this door. It is locked. If you take the master key as your starting item, you're able to open this door. And right across that bridge and through the tunnel, you can't really see it that well, but it's over there on that side, leads directly down into Blade Town. So boom, right to the second Bell of Awakening. From there, you can jump over to the Great Hollow if you wanted to, right off the bat. That area beyond the fence is actually the Valley of the Drakes, which connects to the Darkroot Basin. From there, you're able to run up to the Darkroot Forest, check out that area, and that also reconnects with the Undead Parish. So, right off the bat, interconnections like crazy, thanks to the Master Key in that door there. And like immediate interconnections. Now, you are obviously able to open the door by standard means later on, which is what we are going to be doing. But yeah, so, and once the doors open, you have access to all the things I just mentioned. Now, it should be noted that this spot right here is actually the source of some more content. So, originally, this door was closed. So yeah, it was closed. And you could not go through here. Instead, there was a key. It is not clear where you would get it. Hot Pocket Remix, a Souls modder, or well, Dark Souls 1, like PC modder, actually restored the key and placed it here. And locked this door. So you actually had to work your way up and around, which was interesting. They made the decision of getting rid of that key and just leaving this door open to give you the chance to check out the New Londo ruins. And if you have the Master Key, go through the Valley of the Drakes. Now, it's not clear if this door was originally going to be a Master Key door. No one has been able to find anything like that as far as I know in the files. But, yeah, nice little piece of game design there. They opened up the world by getting rid of a key, giving players more choice. Now, one really, really smart thing they did is there is super good natural gating. So, if you just, from the beginning of the game, run down there, you are going to get your butt beat so bad. The ghosts of New Londo are brutal, especially for new players. It serves as a natural gating mechanism. But for a experienced player, you'll be able to run and skip your way through that area, potentially getting a bunch of super good, normally, like, late game items. So, yeah. There's that. Whole bunch of cool things with that. We're going to be getting to more of the interconnectedness in just a second. Here, no response. She cannot speak. This is Anastasia, the Firekeeper. We are able to reinforce our Estus Flask. Firekeeper soul required to do so. We do not have any yet. There is one down in New Londo Ruins. So, experienced players could easily make a run to go and grab that and buff the Estus before they encounter a boss after leaving the asylum. No response. She cannot speak. So no talking option as of yet. So Anastasia is actually the girl that's in the intro, that's kneeling over the knight that's wearing the fluted set. So we've already actually seen her before now. And we will be seeing plenty of her later on. Okay, they are moving. They look really static from the front. So that's one of the details they added in the remaster. Was they animated some of the stuff. This one here that's lower is just a flat texture on the wall, unfortunately. So it adds some life to the game a little bit. Probably pretty simple for them to... Sorry about that. Probably pretty easy for them to implement, but nice little touch. Unfortunately, it makes the parts behind the moving leaves look worse. But, oh boy. Hitboxes. Oh, that's interesting. Huh. There's a little thing here that's missing now. Weird. Anyways. Alright. So, the interconnections continue. If you go out here and hang a left, and this is where a lot of players get tripped up. He tells them to head through the ruins. So they head through the ruins. They come out here. And they go over here. And they see this graveyard, and they see a bunch of items. And they don't see the piles of bones that will rise up and murder them super hard. So this leads down to the catacombs. So the catacombs themselves is like mid-game. But past that is the Tomb of the Giants, the end game, late game area. So once again, natural gating comes into effect here. And it's like, these skeletons are not to be messed with. They are too strong for you. And it's supposed to repel you and make you look for another route. The unfortunate part with how that actually ended up working out is that the path that you're supposed to go up to the Undead Burg, not clear at all. It's a narrow little path, and yeah, you can see it there. It's not very noticeable. There's no torch or NPC or anything to pull your attention over there. He, the crestfallen warrior, gives you bad directions and tells you to head through the ruins. And yeah, that cemetery is where a lot of players' playthroughs end up going to die, unfortunately. A lot of people hit that ruin and are not able to advance. Gestures, which we've already been doing. You, sir. So this is our next NPC.
Hello there. I believe we are not acquainted. I am Petrus of Firelink. Have you business with us? If not, I'd prefer to keep a distance, if possible.
And he's already given us the cold shoulder. Come on, man. Why you gotta be like that? That's not a great gesture for that. Can I please talk to you? I am on my knees praying for you to talk to me.
Hello there. I realize that I have requested that we retain our distance. But I also want you to know that it is not meant in ill will. Here, take this as a token of peace. No, go ahead. It's for you.
Copper coin. Anything new on this? No. Long ago gone hollow. Yeah, nothing new. Copper coin of Old Man McLoif. Copper, or a coin made of copper. Its face shows Old Man McLoif, god of medicine and drink. Even coins of great value in the world of men have little value in Lordran, where the accepted currency is souls. Those who dream of returning to the outside world are fond of carrying these around. So he tried buying us off with what is worthless currency in this world. For shame, Petrus. For shame. Do we have any other gestures out of curiosity? So it should be noted that because we started as knight, we started with prayer instead of joy, I believe. But anyways, you got anything else to say, Petrus?
Oh my, you again. Oh, I know. How about this? I have to await my companions here anyway. So what if I were to teach you some miracles? Would that please you?
That's intriguing. Sure.
Very well. Then first, a covenant with the gods.
Already belong to this covenant. Covenant way of white.
Now let me share my miracles. Only their ultimate effectiveness will be determined by your efforts and your faith.
Alright. So we're already in his covenant. We can learn a new gesture. Shrug. What can you do?
My companions are Milady and her young knights.
Do they add a talk
She is
option?
young, but burdened by an undead mission. We are her defenses, to keep her from harm. An undead mission? Regrettably,
Interesting.
I cannot share that with you. But you are my pupil. Perhaps if you show your faith.
Ooh, show your dedication. 500 souls. Sure.
Very well. I can surely tell you, of all people, undead clerics are given a mission to seek kindling. Kindling
Okay.
is the art of feeding bonfires with humanity. Through
All
kindling,
right.
we shall one day be granted magnificent powers.
Huh.
Very well. I can undead cleric kindling.
Alright, so they're looking for the rite of kindling. Now, I'm pretty sure this talk option is new for the remaster. I am going to check that out. Huh. That's interesting. Anyways. Great Heal Excerpt. Great Miracle cast by advanced clerics. Restores high HP. Great Heal Excerpt borrows from only several verses of Great Heal. As a result, it can only be cast a stark few times. And by a stark few, they mean one. Because, yeah. Homeward! I love the picture on this spell, it's awesome. Great Miracle, cast by advanced clerics. Return to the last bonfire rested at. Would normally link to one's homeland, only the Curse of the Undead has distorted its power, redirecting casters to a bonfire. Or perhaps for undead, this serves as a home? Interesting detail there. Force! Common miracle among cleric knights. Great shockwave. This quickly acting miracle inflicts no damage, but propels foes back and defends against arrows. Cleric knights use this miracle when charging into enemy mobs. Seek guidance. Miracle of clerics on an undead mission. Display more guidance from other worlds. Guidance facilitates communication between undead, but their value varies greatly. A balance of faith and wisdom is required. Heal. Elementary miracle cast by clerics. Restores HP. To cast a miracle, the healer learns a tale of the gods and says a prayer to be blessed by its revelations. Heal is the shortest of such miraculous tales. Thurlin Talisman. Medium for casting Miracle of the Gods. Talisman is only granted to high-ranking Thurlin clerics, has high miracle adjustment, which, thanks to divine protection, is not dependent on faith. And Standard Talisman. Alright, Standard Talisman issued to common believers. Equip Talisman to cast miracles. Tune miracles from a scroll at a bonfire. Most miracles have have limited number of uses. I don't know why they abbreviated number there. Weird. So that's the closest thing you get to a tutorial on how to use magic. Now, I would like to pick up, for our purposes, the Seek Guidance Miracle. First, however, I need 2k souls. So to that end, let's grab that. Alright. Oh, I already had... Okay. So this is new in the remaster. Pop multiple at once. Awesome feature.
Oh, I will teach you miracles.
Seek guidance. So it is now gone from his inventory.
Very well. I'll kindle through. Come again. The effectiveness of the teachings depend upon your faith.
Alright. So there is that. So let's see, what did I have? Yeah, so Petrus at first gives us the cold shoulder, but he does come around. You can't just... He does come around, gives us a copper coin, and then agrees to teach us miracles. So, interesting that. Now, let's see. Yeah, so it's interesting. They give you a miracle vendor, granted a not very good one, right off the bat, but for sorceries and pyromancies, you have to go a little bit before you get one. It's not super far, but it is far enough. Let's see, what else do I got? So, Seek Guidance is a super, super cool spell. Yeah, it doesn't tell you, that's annoying. So, Seek Guidance makes more messages appear in your world. So it increases the number you would see from human players, so actual people, but also does make more dev messages pop up. Now, there are none in Firelink, but there are some up in the Undead Burg. So I am going to make sure we can use that spell before then. Alright. Now then. So we kind of passed by it before, but this right here is where the elevator leading up to the Undead Parish connects. If you notice, well, it's actually super hard to tell in the remaster. I wonder if we mess with the brightness? No, not even then. Wow. But yeah, if you drop down, you find this little secret. We got a bunch of chests. 6 homeward bones. Bone fragment reduced to white ash. Return to the last bonfire used for rusting. Bonfires are fueled by the bones of the undead. In rare cases, the strong urge of their previous owners to seek bonfires enchant their bones with a homeward instinct. So when you use those, you return to the last bonfire rested at, with all of your souls and humanity intact. Super useful. Here we pick up the Morning Star and a talisman, which saves me the trouble of needing to buy one to use Seek Guidance. We also get cracked red orb. Let's see. Alright. Inflicts thrust damage and causes bleeding? Really? It inflicts thrust? I did not realize that. One of the most barbaric cleric weapons. Now, if you notice, that is the weapon that Petrus was using. And right near it, we found cracked red-eye orbs. Online play item. Invade other worlds. Defeat the master of the world you have invaded to acquire humanity. The cracked red-eye orb allows players to temporarily imitate this ability normally limited to the dark race of Kath. So that's the first mention of Kath there. And we are going to meet him this playthrough. That's the plan. So, down here, with the weapon and talisman that our new buddy Petrus uses. Oh, hey, there's one window. Yeah, so right near where our new buddy Petrus hangs out is this hidden little alcove where we find a duplicate of his weapon and cracked red eye orbs. Interesting environmental storytelling going on there. And we get 4 Lloyd's talismans. Prevents Estus recovery within a limited area. Talismans utilized by Allfather Lloyd's cleric knights to hunt down the undead. Blocks Estus recovery within a limited area. In the outside world, the undead are cursed creatures, and Lloyd's cleric knights are widely praised for their undead hunts. This blessed talisman blocks undead recovery, allowing the knights to fight with impunity. So this stops people from being able to use Estus and heal. Obviously, in the original version of this game, that was only good for the invader to stop the host from healing, because no one else had Estus. In the remaster, everyone has limited Estus, except for the host, who has the full amount. So it actually is much more of a use. There's also a hidden use where it affects mimics, which is something we'll get into later on in the game. So here we are in the cemetery, and we got skeletons. So as you could... As you could tell from the, non-existent damage I did against them, you're not meant to fight them yet. So, instead, we are going to do a run through, pick up items. So we got the Zweihander, some souls, binoculars, alright. Run! Caduceus round shield. Oh boy! I cannot believe we managed to do that first try. Soul of Lost Undead. So hidden little item, and then you're able to run along here, jump! Woo! And we did it first try. Yee! Alright. Now then. I would like to pop 1 humanity, which you are also able to consume multiple. Ooh, that effect looks good. So now we have 1 soft humanity, which means if we die, that will actually drop onto the ground. Now, with this, we are able to reverse our hollowing, which consumes that 1 humanity, lights up, and now we look like an actual human being. Nice. So, we are 1 faith away from using Seek Guidance. Let's see, we need 741. Alright. Kindle. No humanity. But we can't kindle anyways. Covenant. Ah! Okay. So that's a brand new menu in this one. You're just able to hot swap Covenant, but it does come at a cost, which is something we'll be talking about and dealing with later on in the game. Now then, So 741 is what the first level costs. Alright. There we go. There's our faith required. Now we need 758. And we can attune our first spell. Boom! Seek guidance. Nice. So 758. Alright. Pop one of those. Pop one of those. And I'm gonna put it into strength. Yes, I'm gonna put it into strength. Next level is 775, which I do not have enough for, because I only have 600 between these two. Alright. Let's see, is there any thing... Oh, that's right, I did pick up more stuff. Zweihander. As the name suggests, the Zweihander is held with two hands, but its wielder must still be inhumanly strong. It is this great weight that sends flows flying when hit solidly. Should be noted, apparently, inhuman strength is 24. Twice what we have now. It's really interesting that inhuman strength is a quantifiable stat. Winged Spear. Let's see, anything? No. Caduceus Round Shield. Round wooden shield crafted in Lordran. Decorated by an ancient blue caduceus. The giant trees in Lordran are distant offspring of the great stone arch trees. This shield inherits their properties, and the wood greatly reduces magic damage. Let's see, 65. Get 65 lightning. Not too bad. Only 85 physical, though. And I didn't get anything else, correct? No, I got binoculars. Alright. Binoculars made of brass, used to peer at distant scenery. Damn, I'm having a problem reading. This advanced device was built by a famous craftsman of Astora. Its utility is singular, but its applications many. The value of these specs depends greatly on the imagination of their owner. We're going to be getting a lot of use out of these. Now, let's see. Oh, they did it! They did add it! Yes! I don't think that was in the original. By tapping up on the D-pad, you can zoom in a bit. Awesome! We're still locked in place, but I'm pretty certain that was not in the original. I have a few things I need to test. That will be one. Man, I was hoping that was in. Oh man, that's awesome. I was hoping that was a thing. That was on my wish list for this game, and I didn't know if it was in or not. That's awesome. Okay. Alright. Let's talk stats. Let's talk stats. So, Vitality. Very straightforward, gives you HP. Attunement. Bumps up the number of attunement slots. I don't think it affects anything else in Dark Souls 1. I am not 100% on that, but I don't think it affects anything else. So, attunement slots are tier-based. So, at 10, which is what we started with on this character, we have one attunement slot. What is it, 12? You get a second slot. 14, you get another. Then I think the next one I think the next one might jump up to like 18 or something like that. Or it might be 16, 20. Either way. So it's tier-based. Endurance determines stamina, equip load, and resistance to bleeding. The resistance to bleeding is super, super minor. Doesn't make a huge difference. That being said, stamina, super good. Allows you to swing your weapon more, dodge more, block bigger hits, sprint longer. Stamina is one of the most powerful stats in the game, given the amount of things you can get out of it. Equip load. So that is the amount of equipment you can have equipped. Also super good, because armor is amazing in Dark Souls 1. Endurance is so strong in this game that in all of the subsequent ones, they broke it into 2 stats. So, yeah, in Dark Souls 1, that is probably the best stat in the game. Like, I would argue for that being the strongest stat. Strength allows you to use bigger strength weapons, and you get more damage from them. Dex, same deal, but with Dex weapons. Resistance! Boost defense and resistance to poison. Every time you level up in this game, you gain a point of defense. Every time you level up, you get defense. The amount you get from resistance is not enough. If you got more from it, it might have been a worthwhile stat. If you got in more defense, and it gave you your resistance to bleeding, let's see. Yeah, if it had the resistance to bleeding also tacked on, plus curse resist. So if it had every status effect, plus a bigger boost to defense, that could have been a usable stat. It could have been a legitimate thing to dump a couple points in there, probably not a ton, but a few, to get a little bit more defense. And in particular, resistance to things. So it's like, with minor rework, and honestly not a whole lot of balancing, that could have been a super good stat. As it currently sits, every point in resistance is a wasted point. If I was able to, I would take all 10 points out of resistance and put it into other stats. It is that bad. Intelligence for sorceries and magics. Faith for miracles. And, for miracles. Let's see. Equip load. Total weight of items. Higher number slows movement. Exceeding maximum causes sluggishness. So let's actually talk about that for a second. So at current, I only have Broadsword, Tower Kite Shield, and Knight Leggings, which gives me this roll, which is the fast roll, because I have less than 25%. And just barely, mind you, because 25% will be 12.5. So, if I went and put on our chest piece, we get... Is that... Yes, it is. We get mid-roll, which isn't horrible, honestly. Not the best thing ever, but it is manageable. If we pop on the rest of our armor, you'll notice we now sit over 50%. We get the fat roll. Super slow, low iframes. Bash your entire, shoulder / back off the ground. And then, let's see if I can do this. 45. $4.5. I don't quite have enough equipment, do I? Yeah, I don't actually have enough to do it. So if you manage to get it over 100%, your character becomes dang near worthless. Oh boy, that sucks. Anyways, yeah. So that's roll tiers. Now, each one of those comes with a different amount of iframes. You get more on the fast roll, less on the fat roll. And yeah, it's tiered based off of that. Now, tiers to the rolling is super good, and I like Dark Souls 1 having 3, well, technically 4, because over-encumbred's a thing. In which case you can't even roll. But I like having the, like, multi-tiers instead of just, instead of, like, Dark Souls 2 and 3's just fast and fat roll. I like having the mid-roll in there. That's nice. It gives you more options. That being said, another thing that helps counterbalance all of this is another stat called Poise. Ability to receive attacks without breaking form. So what Poise does is, I swing, 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 swing. Enemies hitting me the entire time. I do not care. Drink. Enemy hits me. Keep drinking. Each attack deals poise damage. You have essentially a hidden stamina bar that has really, really slow regen on it. And if the bar empties, you get staggered. So the more poise you have, the more hits you can take without staggering. And at high poise, almost nothing will stop you. So wearing heavier armor in Dark Souls 1 adds a lot. Really, really changes up the playstyle. So yeah, the extra tiers and poise add a lot of meaning to the armor you wear in Dark Souls 1. That, and they actually have decent damage reduction. So, that's the thing. Now, that being said, there is a part of this system that is in Dark Souls 2 that is superior. And it's not the one most people immediately think about when they think rolling in DS2. So iframes in DS2 is tied to a stat called agility. So you physically have to put points into... you physically are like investing points to get iframes on a roll. Not great. That is not what I'm talking about. Dark Souls 2 has a sliding scale system for stamina recovery and roll distance. Dark Souls 1 technically has it on fast roll, but it's negligible. I can't pronounce that. You know what I mean. It has little to no effect. So like, this fast roll isn't as good as that one. It's super, super subtle. Stamina recovery is technically better, but once again, minor at best. Dark Souls 2, though, took that idea and applied it not just to fast roll, but to the entire scale. So the more weight you have, the slower your stamina recovers, and the less distance you cover on your roll. And it's a 100% sliding scale. So right now, we're at 12.4. So 12.3 would have slightly better stamina recovery and slightly better roll distance. So it really, really encouraged good good min-maxing to try to maximize your roll distance and stamina recovery while keeping decent defenses and poise. Unfortunately, both of those things were also nerfed in DS2, but that's a separate conversation. So it's like, I like the idea of having these very clear defined tiers that determine your animation and iframes, but I like the idea of like stamina recovery and roll distance being a sliding scale. So it adds different levels of min-maxing that aren't in this one. That would have been cool little way they could have adjusted the game minorly. It would not have had a huge effect, but for the people that really care about like min-maxing and trying to balance their stats, and it would add something more for them. But for most players, it would have little to no effect. So something to think about there for more advanced type players. Something that should be considered whenever you're designing a game is for the casual and the experienced players, adding depth there that also doesn't really interfere with a new player's experience. Man, we've talked a lot, haven't we? Let's see, what else do I got? Let's see. Progression natural. That's right. Souls! I have not talked about souls. So, in Dark Souls, in the Dark Souls universe, in all of the Soulsborne games, souls are your experience. They're your currency. They are everything like that. Sultan Sanctuary and Neo decided to separate currency and souls, so you'd XP and money. But I think that kind of undermines part of the balancing that is so good in the Soulsborne games, where it's like, you want to level up? You need souls. You want to buy a spell from that merchant? Guess what? I'm buying time for a second.
Oh.
Guess what? You need souls.
Come again.
And because they're needed for that, you want to go and upgrade your weapon. No, I'm not going to go and run to Rickard, don't worry. But you want to upgrade your weapon. You want to repair your weapon. You need souls. And them being a single currency adds a lot more weight and value to them. And as part of that, the way these games are designed, on death, you drop all of them on the ground. If you die a second time without retrieving them, they're gone forever. That really, that adds even more worth to them. It means you want to be walking around with 89 souls like I am now. You want to be walking around with that nice low number, because it means you don't have anything to lose. Well, I have my humanity to lose right now, but that's a separate thing. But yeah, that idea of having like that much value in souls is so important. Yeah. And it's something, like I said, I think Sultan Sanctuary and Neo, while good games, kind of undermine that design principle. They didn't quite grasp that part of it. A lot of the weight behind dying is because everything is tied to that number. Without that, your character cannot advance at all. It's little things like that where it surprisingly affects the balance of the game. Alright, let's see. What else do I got? What else? Let's see. Alright. Okay, let's see. Yeah, so let's just end on this note. The music. The music of Firelink Shrine. So, Dark Souls, and the entire Soulsborne series, is games where music is not playing all the time. Music plays in boss fights. It plays in your hub. It plays in very important special areas. But if I advanced up to the Undead Bird, silence. I like that the song toned down right there for that. That was perfect. But having this music, this super good calming music here, enforces this feeling of safety. And, like, you can let your hair down, you can relax. You can chat up your NPCs, buy stuff from your merchants, and not worry, because you're safe. And them having the music be a limited thing really adds to that, because the music is already calming, and it would work as like a calming song in any other, and it would work as like calming music for a hub in any other game. But the fact that there's no music everywhere else adds even more to that. I totally forgot about the firebombs until now. Totally forgot about them. I almost jumped down the well and died. That would have been bad. Anything on the firebombs? Many warriors use these to augment their strategic repertoire. But, yeah. So just to finish that thought. The lack of music in the rest of the game makes this Firelink music all the stronger. It really reinforces what it's there for. It's another little design thing. Sometimes the lack of something in the rest of the game strengthens the little you do have. So the lack of music in most areas strengthens the spots where there are music. Another cool little design principle that Dark Souls just got. You don't constantly need music. Music is much more powerful and really helps even more with the mood if it is not used continuously and, well, constantly rather. You know what I mean. Either one of those works. But yeah, anyways, I think we're good for this one. So we spent over an hour in Firelink Shrine. And yeah, you got a little bit of gameplay when I ran down into the graveyard, but not much. The good news is my plan for the next episode is heading up into the Undead Bird and going up through the Taurus Demon. So that's the plan for the next one, is getting up past Taurus. So that episode might end up being on the shorter side, might not, because I still have so much to talk about. So anyways, I'm gonna wrap this one up here. Hope you guys have enjoyed this series so far, and I hope to see you all in the next episode. Bye!